स्वात्मन्यनस्तमय संविधि कल्पितस्य व्योमादि सर्वजगतः प्रददाति सत्ताम् स्फूर्तिं स्वकीयमहसा वितनोति साक्षात् यद्ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि केवलबोधमात्रम्।
नमः परमर्षिभ्यो नमः परमर्षिभ्यां। हरि ओम। उपासकानां यदुपासनीयम् उपात्तवासं वटशाखिमूले तद्धाम दाक्षिण्यजुषा स्वमूर्त्यां जागर्तु चित्ते मम बोधरूपम् अद्राक्षम् अक्षीणदयानिधानम् आचार्यम् आद्यं वटमूलभागे मौनेन मन्दस्मितभूषितेन महर्षिलोकस्य तमोनुदन्तं विद्राविताशेषतमो गणेन मुद्राविशेषेण मुहुर्मुनीनां निरस्यमायां दयया विधत्ते देवो महान् तत्त्वमसीति बोधम्। श्रुत्यर्थगोचरं वन्दे वाच्यार्थानामगोचरम् लक्ष्यार्थवपुषं वन्दे शङ्करं देशिकं गुरुम्। अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। For the last almost we are reaching 1 month, we are having life and teachings of Sankaracharya as our Chaturmasya Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna. We are now in the 46th chapter, Sopanam. This is almost the concluding chapters. Mainly teaching portions. The essence of Bhagavan's teaching or Bhagavad Pada's teaching is Jnanam. In his well-known small prakarana grantha, Atma Bodha. There is a verse where Sankaracharya says, Pakasya vannivat jnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. Just as you cannot cook food without fire, without jnanam, a person cannot get liberated. When Bhagavan came down from Skandashramam to the valley of Arunachala, Ramanacharanatirtha, once in a while they will have some spiritual picnic. So all the devotees one day decided to go up the hill and camp in a place, cook food, stay there and come back. So they went towards Skandashram, then up, I think almost to the 7 springs, Yeshune. So somewhere they planned for cooking, they have brought everything. Rice was there, vegetables were there, cooking utensils were there, everything was there. When they prepared everything for cooking but found there is no matchbox. No way for fire. So Bhagavan then translated this verse. Jnanam vina moksho na siddhyati. Without fire you cannot cook, like that. Without Atma Jnana, liberation is not possible. Liberation is not possible in the physical plane. Common sense will tell you. Liberation is not possible in the mind also, because it all belongs to nature. The body is born, it grows, it decays, it dies. The mind also fluctuates according to Sattoguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Intellect also, now you have memory, slowly it will fade, become weak. So, where will you have steady wisdom? It is not possible. But all these limbs can prepare you, give you sufficient strength for recognizing the eternal truth within you. But the jnanam happens in the Atma only, because it is very nature. Atmanaiva Atmana Atmanam Pashyan Atmani Tushyati. The intellect, just like standing in the door and seeing things inside, it will look from outside and will tell you this is that. And that recognition gives you deep fulfillment, trupti. Atmaratihi, Atmakridaha, Atmamithunaha, Atmanandaha, as the Shruti puts it. Great delight in the Atman, companionship of Atman, and great contentment in the self. It all comes only through jnanam, Atma Jnanam. The very nature of the self is jnanam. Jnanam Satyam, Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Jnanam is the very nature of the self. Atma tu satatam praptopi apraptavad avidyaya tannashe praptavad bhati swakanthabharanam yatha. See, this chapter begins something like that. This shloka is from Atma Bodha, which I am saying now. Atma tu satatam praptaha. As Hastamalaka declared, Nityopalabdhi swarupoham Atma. I am that ever attained Atman. Atma tu satatam praptaha. It is always attained. It is the only thing which is attained. Body is not attained. We have all reverse knowledge. We think we have got body. We don't. Body is not given to you. It is there. Tomorrow, without giving you any information, it will go. And you do not know what all things exist inside body. You have to study it in anatomy. Outer knowledge. Your own body, to see your own body, you need machine, methods, process. So the only thing which is ever available, fully known, is one's own existence as I am. Satadam praptaha, ever attained. But even though it is ever attained, the recognition is not happening. Apraptavad, like as if I have not attained it, I have not got it. Why? Because avidyaya, because of ignorance. Tannashe, when the ignorance is removed, praptavad bhati. It is as if you have regained the lost empire. Praptavad bhati, just like kantabharanam. It's called kantabharana nyaya. You are wearing a necklace in your neck, and suddenly morning you find that it is not there. You search for it here, there, and that new servant, I had very much doubt. After all this, someone tells you, see, you have it in your neck. It was just covered by the cloth. Oh, it is here. So, you suffered as if it was lost. Now you have the joy as if you have regained it. So, nijalabhatushtaha. The greatest contentment comes in a jnani, and that what is that contentment? He re-got his own real self. It's very funny actually. You have not lost it, but the result, the fruit is like that. That it is as if you have re-got it, you have received it, you have rediscovered it. Oh, I am the deathless being, I am the deathless one. Ananda Swarupa, Satchidananda Swarupa. So this knowledge of one's own real nature is the greatest attainment. Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, as the Shruti puts it. The very nature of Brahman is Ananda, bliss. Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva, as Sankaracharya puts it. Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. Padichirikila? Bhajagovinda padichirikila? In a slogan, Yogaratova, Bhogaratova, Sangaratova, Sangavihina. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, Nandati, Nandati, Nandatyeva. Whether he be in the yoga or whether he be in the bhoga, whether he is amidst crowd or whether he is in solitude, Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, one whose mind takes delight in Brahman, in the infinitude of one's being. Sa Nandati, Nandati, Nandati. He rejoices, he rejoices, he rejoices. So this Ananda is seen in a jnani. To attain the jnanam, the body should be purified by karma yoga. The selfishness has colony in the body. Then it has apartments in the mind also. So the body you cleanse by selfless action, the mind you cleanse by upasana, avarana, vikshepa, kashaya. These are the doshas in the mind. Laya, sometimes you will be thinking you are in meditation. Hours together, from morning to night, sitting like this. Laya. The mind is in Laya, torpor. One person had Jada Samadhi. He was a Hatha Yogi. He had Jada Samadhi. He challenged. It was like, he said, I can stay under the earth. You bury me and take me back after 3 months. It happened about 120 years or so during the British time. So they buried him. He had that Lambika Yoga, something he did with Hatha Yoga, and he was buried underneath. And after 2 months, 3 months, they took him, and he had given instruction to his disciples. Like that, they woke him up. When he came out, the first thing that he asked is, give me my money. So it is not jnanam, it is like hibernation of the snow bear. The snow bear also does that. Like that, hibernation. Like that, for some period, the person stops the breath. But vasanas are there. Ignorance is not destroyed. So it is called laya. Sometimes we also go to laya. Not simply nidra, conscious, but mind is in some laya. Laye sambodhayet chittam. Don't mistake it for meditation. Don't mistake it for samadhi. Awaken it. Vikshiptam shamayet punah. When the mind is distracted, lot of thoughts. Upayena nigrinhiyat. Some upaya, some method, quieten it. Bring it to stillness. General method is chant the mantra. Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says, Tasya vachakah pranavaha, tajjapaha tadartha bhavanam. Pranava japa, that is generally, but only monks who do upasana of pranava, Shuddha pranava. Otherwise, some mantra everybody chants. Some mantra chanting is done. Mind means what? Thoughts. So keep the mind in one mantra. Let the mind hold to that mantra. Let the mind become mantramaya. Spandana. Mind is full of spandana. All vibrations. So you have the throb of mantra inside you. Constant throb of mantra. It is vibrating within. With that spandana, the mind slowly becomes peaceful, quiet, shanta. Then the mantra also vanishes, the mind becomes still. Vikshiptam shamayet punah. Sometimes kashaya sthiti. The vasanas are awakened. The vasanas are there. The mind is not asleep. It is not in torpor, but a kind of jada, inert state. Sometimes sadhakas will stay in such a state for a longer period. No interest in life. A person can commit suicide in that state. That kashaya sthiti. Life appears worthless, meaningless. Vijaniyat, become aware of that state. In such a state you need satsanga. In such a state you need karma yoga, satsanga, contact with great sages. Sometimes in the kashaya sthiti, the person cannot be awakened without the contact of a jivan mukta. Bhagavan in one place he says the story of Gautama and Ahalya. Generally we say Ahalya became stone, and when Rama came there, she was again brought back to the human body. Bhagavan said it is not stone, she was in that kashaya sthiti. Like stone, no spiritual movement, no sadhana is possible in that state. No meditation is possible. Vasanas are there in that form. Rock-like state, you cannot move. So, sakashayam vijaniyat. samapraptam na chalayet. When the mind is in samasthiti, in quiet, it is absolutely still, no thoughts, no ignorance. It is vibrant with the knowledge of the self. That is very important. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam ritambara tatra prajna. These are all Yoga Sutras. So there it is filled with the awareness of one's real nature. Then nachalayet, do not disturb it. So thus recognize the inner being, the real nature of the self. What is this I? When you recognize it in that still state, nirvikalpaka samadhina sputam brahmatattvam avagamyate dhruvam nanyatha chalataya manogate pratyayantara vimishritam bhavet. It's a very important shloka in Vivekachudamani. After this we are going to start Vivekachudamani, but we do not know when we will reach there. So nirvikalpaka samadhina, the samadhi where one recognizes oneself as Brahman, very crystal clear recognition happens. And that is nirvikalpa samadhi. Nirvikalpa samadhi is not jada samadhi. Vikalpa means ignorance. Vikalpa means otherness. Vikalpa means anything other than one's self. So the state where there is no vikalpa, no dualistic process, where there is pure awareness of the self as aham, aham, as I. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahmamatram hi ahamahamiti sakshad atmarupena bhati. So in the heart where there is splendor of the realization, brahmatattvam avagamyate dhruvam nanyatha chalataya, when the mind is moving, oscillation, thoughts or sleep, that clear recognition is impossible. Pratyayantara vimishritam bhavet. So that kind of recognition happens and the mind is pure, clear, like infinite space. Akasha. Yasya lokasya ka gatihi iti. As Chandogya Upanishad there is a mantra. What is the ultimate state? Akasha iti hovacha sarvani hava imani bhutani akashadeva samudpadyante akasham prati astam yanti akasho hi eva ebhyah jyayan akashah parayinam. Shruti says everything arises from Akasha, remains in Akasha and goes back to Akasha. And that Akasha is not this Bhuta Akasha. It is the Chidakasha. It is the Swarupa. It is Atma. Yadesha Akasha Anando Nasyat. As Shruti puts it, Akasha itself is Ananda. Akasha is Ananda. Ananda is Aham. It is the real nature of Swarupa. So Akasha Stallingat, there is a sutra, Brahma Sutra. So Akashavan Nirmala Nirvikalpam Nisima Nispandana Nirvikaram Antarbahishshunyam Ananyamadvayam Swayam Param Brahma Kimasti Bodhyam. What is there to know more? Kimasti Bodhyam. Akashavat Nirmala Nirvikalpam, pure, immaculate, like space, immutable, limitless, motionless and changeless, no distinction of within and without, non-different from the self, non-dual. Supreme Brahman shines as one's own self. What more is there to be known? This is also from Vivekachudamani, sample. But again, these verses are all after 200 verses. So, the real nature of the self is infinite like the Akasha. Bhagavad Pada gave this teaching to Niralambopasaka. In the life of Bhagavad Pada, we see people of various kind of religious leaders coming. A group of people came and they said, Brahman is Niralamba. It is like Akasha, space. So many sects. Every sect has some followers. Ishvara is very compassionate. Whoever may be the guru, 4 disciples at least he will give. So they also have some followers. Any kind of new meditation. So this person has given meditate on Akasha. That is good actually. It's a good meditation. You can just watch the Akasha. It is better than watching the mobile. So you watch the Akasha simply because the infinitude comes to you. Just always watching the Akasha. Akasha Shariram Brahma Satyatma Pranara Mammana Anandam. Very body of Brahman is Akasha. It is infinite. So Akasha is the subtle-most bhuta. So you can meditate on Akasha. And meditate on Brahman as Akasha. Sureshwaracharya says, what kind of Akasha? A Akasha where there is no cloud. A Akasha where there is no darkness. Akasha where there is no dust. Akasha where there is no smoke. Dhuli Andhakara Dhumabhra Nirmukta Gaganopamam. Gaganam means Akasha, which is devoid of dhuli, dust, andhakara, darkness, dhuma, smoke, abhra, cloud. So cloudless space, darkness-less space, smokeless space, infinite space of Brahman, you experience within. That is your real nature. That is nirvikalpa. Chidakasha mayam sarvam jagadityeva bhavayan. One meditation Yoga Vasishta gives. Meditate that the entire world is filled with Chidakasha. Chidakasha mayam sarvam jagadityeva bhavayan. Yastishtati upashantontaha. Thus the mind attains great peace. Upashanti. Upashantontaha. Sa Brahma Kavacha Sukhi. Such a person is having Brahma Kavacha. He is wearing the armor of Brahman. Nothing can corrupt him. Nothing can hurt him. Because he has this meditativeness inside that everything is Chidakasha. So, Bhagavad Pada gave this teaching to this Niralamba Upasaka. He said this Akasha is not simply this outer Akasha. See, what do we experience in deep sleep?
Whatever we experience now, anything that we experience now, we don't experience that.
But something is there.
Sukha.
Sukham. But Upanishad says that Sukham is Akasha. Yadesha Akasha Anando Nasyat. As Shruti says, it's Akasha Ananda. It's Ananda without any border. No experiencer, no experienced. But recognition is not there. Recognition, you have to get recognition now, not while. Always you see the problem with deep sleep is always it is past, not now. So now you have to recognize it. Akasha Ananda says. Akasha Ananda means Ananda where there is no I, you, etc. Nunnuru Unayan Vinduru Nannida Yennalai Yerum Yendru Arunachala. As Bhagavan puts it, Vinduru Arunachala, you are Chidambaram. Arunachala is Chidambaram. Mandraham Nadamidum Arunai Ma Malaye Maniye. Mandraham Nadamidum. So Nadaraja is also, it's the Chidambara and Arunachala is dancing. So actually is fire. Tikutan. That is what they say. Tikut. So in the Akasha, Nadaraja has the dance of fire. So this very nature of Atma, Bhagavan says Nunnuru, very subtle. That is why in Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavad Pada says, without that Samadhi experience, without that Samadhi, this Anubhava is impossible. And what Sankaracharya calls Samadhi is important. It is not the so-called trance. The Samadhi is Atīva Sukshmam Paramatma Tattvam Nastula Drishtya Pratipattum Arhati. With the gross vision, you cannot recognize, understand that Paramatma Tattva Samadhina Atyanta Susukshma Vritya. By Samadhi, which is Atyanta Susukshma Vritti. It is the subtle-most Vritti. Vritti Jnanam is there, but very, very subtle recognition of the self. Jnatavyam Aryehi Atishuddha Buddhibhihi. The person should be absolutely pure to recognize the self in that state. So, there he says Aryehi Jnatavyam, by the noble one. Atīva Sukshmam Paramatma Tattva. So, here Bhagavan also says Nunnuru Nayan Vinnuru. The infinite like Akasha. None needed to recognize Yennalai Irum Yendru Arunachala. The thought disturbance has to cease. The cessation of thoughts. When there is absolute cessation, quietude, stillness inside, cessation of thoughts, then that recognition of the subtle principle happens inside. So that is the Niralamba Jnanam. The Jnanam where there is no Alamba. That at first you should have Alamba. Because the mind is having so many Alambas, so many Ashrayas. First, the biggest Alamba is body. Then whatever gives pleasure to the body, all that I grasp. And then all these alambas are removed, the mind goes into void, nothing to hold. And void is an alamba. Every day you want sleep for rest. You depend upon sleep. That is an alamba. Even nidra is an alamba. So all that alambas are removed. Ashraya is removed. Sarva ashrayanam tyagaha. Anya ashrayanam tyagaha. All that alambas are removed, then one finds that the true dependency is in one's own self. Then he sits in the eternal, in the permanent spot. So that teaching is given. Realize this self in this very birth. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata Churasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgambathastat kavayo vatanti. As the Kathopanishad says, arise, awake, go to approach a realized master, a noble one, and know this truth. Sankaracharya with great compassion says in the Bhashya there, do not ignore this precious thing. Na anadaraha kartavyaha matrivadaha shrutihi. There Sankaracharya says, more compassionate than hundreds of mothers. This Shruti Mata is so compassionate, she says, wake up, know this truth. Truth is very simple, but life is like a razor's edge. People think spiritual path is like razor's edge. No. Spiritual path is utterly simple. But after that knowledge also, you have to live in this ridiculous world. And it is like razor's edge. Every step you will get hurt. You become wise and you have to live in a world only foolishness is useful. What to do? Without foolishness, you cannot live here. All ignorance you have to accept. A rope, back to our story. You see a snake. You bring a torch and see that there is no snake. And you are convinced of it. People around said, do not go there. There is a snake. You tell them, no snake. It is a rope. They said, you don't know, fool. You came only today. We have been seeing this snake for years. For that we are doing mantra japam. As we said, apasarpa sarpa badrande. We are saying, oh snake, go away, snake, go away. After so many years, the snake will slowly go away. Another person said, I am doing some avahanam of snake. Now the tail has already disappeared. The rest of the portion is there. And some other people say, we will hit the snake with the stick. The intelligent person, he said, you fools, mudhamate. Don't you see there is no snake there? Bring a torch. They said, there was no torch available. They said, you are a fool. We have been doing all these things so many. He took the rope and put it in his neck. Sureshwaracharya says in Vartika, that it is not enough that you declare no snake. You put the rope in your neck. Then they said, Mandravadi. And started hitting him. Because the wise person, to be wise is dangerous amidst so many fools. So, see, perhaps that is the picture behind that Shiva putting the snake in his neck. Only for you, it appears as snake. It is not snake for him. Malarmala Nagamamo. In Malayalam there is a song, Narayana Guru, where he says, because of ignorance, you see the flower garland as a snake in darkness. But your ignorance will not make the flower garland. It looks much more beautiful, like with instead of rope. So, even if you consider it as a snake, it will not become snake. It is a very fragrant flower garland. So, for Shiva it is flower garland. We look and see snake there. So, this is the problem. So, realize that and live in this world with that knowledge. Day and night take delight in the self. Atmaratihi, Atmakridaha, Atmamithunaha, Atman, Yastu Atmaratireva Syad, Atmatriptashamanavaha, Atmanyevacha Santushtaha, Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. Gita, Bhagavan says he has nothing to achieve, he has nothing to attain, he has nothing to do, he is absolutely free. Such a one is a liberated being. So, giving this teaching to that Niralambavatis, from there Acharya moved towards Kāśi. Second time he is coming to Kāśi. First, from Govinda Bhagavatpada, his own guru, asked him to go to Kāśi, then he came to Kāśi. Now, after a long travel, he came down to the south to Kerala, Kanyakumari. From there he went up now to the middle portion, Kāśi. So, walking eastwards from Prayag, the group reached Kāśi. Acharya was returning to Kāśi after a gap of 13 years. 13 years of walk. Kanchi Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swami, after his sannyasa, he started walking. He also went to Kāśi and north. I think it is almost 27 years, after which he returned to Kanchipuram. It's all walk only. So 27 years of travel. So it was after receiving the Lord's command at Kāśi that he had commenced his journey, returning to the presence of the same Lord, Vishwanatha. Acharya recollected all the past incidents. The people of the city welcomed Acharya with great joy and devotion. Acharya directly went to the temple of Sri Vishwanatha and worshipped the Lord with flowers of devotion and hymns of praise. Paratmanamekam jagadbijamadyam Niriham nirakaram onkara vedyam Yato jayate palyate yena vishwam Tamisham bhaje liyate yatra vishwam. Very beautiful verse. Paratmanamekam. Who is that Shiva? He is that Supreme Self, Jagat Bijam, the seed of Jagat. Jagat means the world. The world arises from him, the world stays in him, the world goes back to him. Janmadyasya yataha. As the Brahma Sutra says, Janma adi asya yataha yasmat karanat bhavati. Yato va imani bhutani jayante ena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisam vishanti. So Jagat Bijam is the seed, the eternal seed of the world. From him the world arose. Nirakaram is not something you can see through the senses. Onkara Vedyam is the implied meaning, essence of Om, the Pranava. Yato Jayate, from where the world arises. Palyate yena, by whom it is being governed, sustained. Tamisham bhaje, that Ishvara we worship. Liyate yatra vishwam, in whom this Vishwam goes back and merges back. Ajam shashvatam karanam karananam Shivam kevalam bhasakam bhasakanam Turiyam tamah param adyantahinam prabadye param Pavanam dvaitahinam. It is all shloka only, but it contains all the Vedanta Shastras there. Ajam, it is the birthless one. It appears to be born. What to do? Ajamapi janiyogam prapada Aishwarya yogat. Due to Maya, the birthless, the deathless, it appears to be born. It appears to be growing. It appears to be dying. For us also, actually, when we know our real nature, we know we were never born. Actually, anyone remembers their birth? Only the jewellery shop person knows your birthday. Nobody remembers, right? பிறந்தது ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? நீங்கள் பிறந்தது அம்மா அப்பா சொல்லி தானே தெரியும் இல்லையா? We feel our existence, not birth, no happening in consciousness. Nobody feels any happening in consciousness. So too, it is impossible to see your own death. So others will see. It is their prarabdha. So it is satta, it is existence. Ajam, shashvatam, eternal, permanent. Karanam, karananam, it is the supreme cause behind all other cause. Shivam, auspicious, kevalam, the non-dual. Bhasakam, bhasakanam, it is the illuminer behind the sun, the moon, the stars, the fire. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhanti. Kutoyam agnihi, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. There the sun shines not, nor the moon, nor the stars. What to speak about this fire? By his light, effulgence, everything is illumined. So, Turiyam, the fourth, beyond that waking, the dream, the deep sleep. Turiyam, tamahparam, beyond the darkness of ignorance. Adyantahinam, without beginning or end. Prapadye param, the most sacred, holy of the holiest, holiest of the holiest. Param pavanam dvaitahinam, without any duality. Namaste, namaste, Vibho Vishwamurte. Namaste, namaste, Chidananda Murte. Namaste, namaste, Tapoyoga Gamya. Namaste, namaste, Shrutijnana Gamya. He is to be realized through tapas and yoga. He is to be realized through the knowledge of Shruti Upanishads. Shivayeti Shabdo Namah Purvayesha Sparan Mukti Mrityuha Tattvavachi Maheshana Magan Manasto Vachastaha Sada Mahyametat Pradhanam Prayacha. This is Panchakshara. Panchakshara is very important. It is the form of Shiva. In Chidambara, when you go, Nataraja is dancing, his head, his hands, his 2 feet, all that makes the Panchakshara. So it's all Panchakshara Swarupa. And Panchakshara is like a tablet in which Shivanubhava is the essence. It is the Panchara, Panchakshari Panchara Ranjitabhyam. Namah Shivabhyam. Bhagavad Pada says, you want an aushadha? Namah Shivabhyam Parama Aushadhabhyam. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanuhu Shiva Vishwaha Bheshaji. It is a medicine. Greatest medicine, highest medicine. When you know the secret of that Panchakshara Vidya, one devotee says, even if you tie a rock in my back and throw me in ocean, I will come back with this hold. Kattunai Putti or Kadalinul Paichinum Nattunai Avat Namah Shivaya ways. It is my hold, it is my refuge. So that Panchakshara, Bhagavad Pada says, Shivayeti Shabdaha. Because the mantra should not. Now, our tradition, we will not utter the mantra outside. But now people are all, some they sing like bhajan, some put it in the board also everywhere. The sacred thing should be kept as a secret. The more secret it is, the more sacred it proves. But that is not done. So generally we won't say that outwardly. So, Shivayeti Shabdaha. Namah Purvaha. Mantra is told but not told. The Shivaya and with Purva Namaha. in the beginning. Esha Smaran, one who recollects that mantra, Muktikrit. உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? பஞ்சாட்சரம் கொடுத்துருக்காளே எல்லாருக்கும் எடுத்தா சக்தி பஞ்சாட்சரம் வாட் எவர் இருக்கே இல்லையா? உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதுக்குள்ளே இருக்குது இல்லையா? சிவாயா இல்லையா? அப்புறம் அந்த ஜபம் பண்ணுறீங்களா எல்லோரும்? புதுசா பேக்கில் இருக்கா? யாருக்கெல்லாம் இருக்குது? உங்களுக்கெல்லாம் இருக்கு. அது வந்து பெரிய பொக்கிஷம், பெரிய ரத்னம் அது. சிவாயேதி சப்தோ நம பூர்வ ஏஷ ஸ்மரன் முக்தி கிருத் மிருத்யுஹா. 8 erases death. Bhagavan, Ramana Bhagavan said Arunachalam and death was removed. அருணாச்சலமென அகமே நினைப்பவர் அகத்தை வேற ரூப்பாய அருணாச்சல. Moment he recollected Arunachalam, that experience of deathlessness arose within him. Mrityave swaha, mrityave swaha. Mrityu itself is offered there, not for mrityu simply. So Maheshanamagat manasto vachastaha sada mahyametat pradhanam prayacha. So as before, Acharya stayed near Manikarnika Ghatta, Kāśi. That is very important spot. When you go to Kāśi, you should remember this also, that in the Manikarnika Ghatta, Bhagavatpada has stayed. Earlier, Acharya had come to Kāśi from the presence of Guru Govinda Bhagavatpada with a group of 6 elderly ascetics. See, we should remember that very sweet story when Govinda Bhagavatpada told that little boy, Shankara, to take this great mission. Like a mother, he was more compassionate. He asked 6 of his elderly disciples to move with him and look after him. Very practical, because he is a small boy. So that those 6 ascetics, only 4 remained to welcome him back. They shed tears of joy on seeing Acharya. All of them stayed in Kāśi because they were very elderly people. From there, Bhagavatpada had disciples to move with him. So, the disciples took up residence at different places on the bank of Ganga. Kāśi shone brighter on the arrival of the great Acharya. Large crowds came to meet him. Here too people came for debates. Now we have to remember. One person joined Acharya's group. One Shapanaka, one Jain Bhikshu. And he came with a Turi Yantra, like one mysterious Yantra. He says, I am the meditator on time. I can control time. And Kala is the supreme deity. With that he came. Generally, Acharya will give chance to certain people to debate. Certain people he will give them upadesha. Some others, when they come, they will not argue. By themselves they will surrender. And some people are incorrigible. Acharya also failed. We will see Unmatta Bhairava. When he came, Bhagavatpada said, you can go. Because totally cultureless, what to do? Is it? Nothing can be done. So, such cases have occurred. And this person, when he came, Acharya said, you stay with us. Now we do not have time. We will see, you are also a bhikshu, you are also a sannyasi. So, no bondage. So, you can come with us, move with us, let us see what will happen. So this person was moving with Acharya for so many days. Now when they came to Kāśi, there was great release. free time. So one day Acharya called this person. As mentioned earlier, Samaya, that was his name, the loincloth clad Kshapanaka mendicant, had joined Acharya's group in Karnataka so many days. He had not spoken a word since. After that, this person was there with the group every day, moving with Sankaracharya, every day listening to his teachings. Now, after about 6 months, Acharya beckoned him and said, Samaya, if you have anything to ask, please do. We can talk. Samaya bowed his head in embarrassment and stood thus for a while. He didn't talk for some time. Then, with tears in his eyes, he said, Lord, I have been seeing thy divine form and listening to thy divine words all these 6 months. I have wept several nights thinking about the foolish words I had uttered in thy presence. Unaware of thy glory, I have nothing to ask thee. Please be compassionate and teach me Brahma Tattva, that is beyond space, time and causation. That is my only prarthana prayer. Acharya said, Good, you are a mature soul. That is why, though ignored for these 6 months, you have remained with the group and have understood the truth. Constantly do Atma Vichara. Find out what is your real nature. Do negation of the body, the mind, the ego, and seek within what is that stable thing within you, which is Satchidananda Swarupa, pure consciousness, the essence which never changes in waking, dream, or deep sleep. Childhood, youth, old age, everything comes and goes. That changeless principle is shining within. Recognize it. Know that it is beyond time and space. He gave him that Upadesha, and Samaya thus became a disciple of Acharya. Men of different faiths like Satya Sharma, he is a worshipper of Pitraloka. Shankapada and Kujvalida, many Upasakas, Chitrakirti and others, certain worshippers of Gandharvas and Vidyadharas, all people came. Acharya himself was surprised at the prevalence of so many strange practices among people. You need some teaching and some disciple. So many different practices. In Tiruvannamalai also you can see. One day from Ramanacharanatirtha I was coming out. Ashram office managed people. Those days were very quiet. They were all, 2 or 3 of them. I think Mani Anna was there. They were standing underneath that Ilupai tree, big tree, and talking to somebody. Who are they talking? Nobody is seen. Then I found one lady sitting above the tree, night 9 o'clock. I said, what happened? We are asking her to come down. She says, I am doing meditation on this tree, so sitting on the tree. So many things will happen in Tiruvannamalai. One day, I was at that time in Maunam also, what to do. So, standing before Bhagavan Samadhi, and our last president, Sundarana, was there. So, I just touched him and said, see, one person was meditating, but seeing his meditation, he was horrified because he is sitting on the parapet wall of the well. And slowly they brought him down. After that, you can now see it is all covered now. All iron bars were put. Because such people will come, what to do? Different kind of upasana, different kind of meditation practices. So Bhagavad-pada saw all those things and he himself was wondering what all strange things. Padmapada, this is the strange and mysterious Maya. Aho atigambhira duravagahya vichitra yam Maya. Acharya said, this Maya is so magnificent, inscrutable, mysterious. In spite of being the Supreme Self, Swayam Paramatma Satatvopi Evam Uchyamanepi na Grinhati. Even when told, even the Upadesha is given, they don't accept it. Aham Amushya Putra iti Anuchyamanepi Grinhati. I am his son, I am his grandson, I am his nephew, I am his niece. Nobody need to tell. Nunam parasya mayaya momuhyamanaha sarvo lokaha bambhramiti. Greatly deluded, immensely deluded. What to do? Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmayati Parabrahma Mahishi. Saundarya Lahari says that Parabrahma Mahishi, Mahamaya, she is deluding the world. Even when the Shruti is giving you the teaching, Tattvamasi, not accepting, going to this astrologer, that Mandravadi, that great faith, Adhyashtamiti Navamiti Chaturdashiti Jyotishkavache Upavasanti Bhaktya Shrutestvaho Tattvamasi Vakyam Na Vishwasanti Adbhutameta Deva. This is great wonder. And Shruti Mata is declaring you. The truth is you. You are that. Your real nature. So all misfortunes will vanish if we listen to the words of Shruti. But out of ignorance, man opts for sorrow and misfortune instead of liberation and freedom, O power of Maya. Here Acharya roamed the banks of Ganga, wearing only a loin cloth, immersed in the bliss of the self. He rested in Kāśi for 3 months. Sureshwara, Padmapada, Chitsuka and Totaka conducted lessons separately on bhashyas after the usual morning rituals. Acharya and Hastamalaka is always free. Watched all these with perfect detachment. Acharya guided earnest seekers in matters related to Upasana as well as on the path of Atma Vichara. The number of people who attended the Patha, the talks on Vedanta was much more in Kāśi than in other places. Still, Acharya, enjoying absolute freedom, spent time leisurely walking on the banks of Ganga, often worshipping her with delightful hymns. Disciples had to search for him and persuade him to accept Bhiksha, as he would often be found immersed in Samadhi in the precincts of some temple or on the bank of Ganga. Thus, Acharya was completely relaxed in Kāśi. We will continue this tomorrow.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva,
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.